It's hard to not like this Oregon running back room this year, next year, year after that. This position has been recruited well. Rashad Samples, the running back coach, has done a really good job. So not long ago, Noah Whittington had some remarks about the running back room, particularly the two true freshmen who came in, saying, I read this over at Ducks Wire, Miles Dwyer. I didn't know that. I forgot that was the name of the guy. He was reporting, and the quote was, quote, Jordon Davison is a force to be reckoned with. He's a downhill runner. He's a little heavy, but he's not slow. With that much mass and speed, it creates a lot of power. He's going to cause a lot of problems with Dierre Hill. He just got here, but just seeing his ability to jump cut and his speed, we were doing some drills the other day, and I was like, you've got to learn how to control that. It's his superpower because he's just so fast. In the future, it's going to be like his superpower because he's going to be that home run hitter. If he gets loose, he's gone. And quote, that is from the Ducks' number 2 running back, who amazingly, stay with me here, folks. Noah Whittington is going into his 4th year as an Oregon Duck, which doesn't feel right, but it is. He was on that 2022 first edition Dan Lanning team with Bucky Irving, who had come over from Minnesota, and then they recruited Jordan James in the 23 cycle. And Bucky has gone out, and Jordan James became the number 1 guy. And amidst all the changes, what do you know? Noah Whittington's still there. Incredibly solid number 2 back. And, last year he definitely had a slow start coming off the injury in 2023. Once he found the groove, boy, he can be a big-time player back there. And I think he's as good of a number 2 back as you'll find in the Big Ten when he is fully healthy. And that truck stick moment against Illinois, that's the good stuff. So looking at this spring game and what you're going to expect from the running backs coming up on Saturday, I think there are a lot of names. This is one of the deeper position groups where I feel like you have a lot of interest and intrigue, mostly for the future, though, because you're not going to see as many of these guys on the field this fall. Right? Receivers, you can have up to 4, maybe 5 on the field at a time. Oregon doesn't do 5 wide sets with receivers, but you could have 4 on the field. You'll see 4 or 5 probably rotate throughout the year. Defensive backs, you're going to see anywhere 5, maybe 6 or 7 guys. It's been 6 the last couple of years. Maybe a 7th works his way into the fold. You never know. Linebackers, you're going to see 3 or 4. Running backs, you're going to see 2. This has become a hallmark of the Dan Lanning era. Aside from his first year, where we saw more Whittington and Sean Dollars and Byron Cardwell a little at the start of the year. He's in the transfer portal, by the way. He's leaving Cal. He's one of 5 running backs to leave the Golden Bears. Just throwing that out there because it's wild. Like, could you imagine if 5 of these players transferred from Oregon? I wouldn't know what to do with myself except give you a bunch of content, of course. So, going into this Saturday, you've got Mekhi Hughes in the room, Noah Whittington, Jordan Davison and Dierre Hill, the true freshmen. Then you have Dink Riggs, Jay Harris, and Jaden Lamar. Those are the guys. And that's a deep lineup of guys. I fully expect Mekhi Hughes to start, the Tulane transfer, who is brothers with Naeem Offord. I can't wait. The moment those two are on the field, within a 5-minute time, it won't even have to be that hard. We're going to hear about it. But so get used to it now. I'm getting you guys loose and ready for it in April. Get ready. That brotherly connection, it's coming. We're going to get pictures from childhood where they've got a football that's bigger than them, throwing it in the driveway or the backyard. It's all going to arrive. Get ready for it, guys. We're Oregon fans. That's just the way it goes. So I expect Whittington to again be the number 2 guy behind him. Maybe this is a year we see. Certainly the depth and talent is there for a 3rd running back to be in the fold. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, though. And I've got some pretty lofty expectations for Mekhi Hughes. He's got big shoes to fill after what Jordan James did last year, going for over 1,200 yards, and what Bucky Irving did the year before that. My favorite stat, maybe that I've looked up all offseason, the last time Oregon didn't have a 1,000-yard rusher was 2005. which is one of the first years I ever consciously remember watching Oregon football with Kellen Clemens. Terrence Whitehead was the running back. He finished under 800 yards that year. That's the last time Oregon didn't have a 1,000-yard rusher. You go Jonathan Stewart, then you go LaMichael James for 3 years, Kenyon Barner, Byron Marshall. There were some close calls, but Travis Dye in 2021, CJ Verdell twice. This has become an expectation for Oregon fans that even though you have other running backs that are involved, that are contributing, you're going to have one main guy who carries the load and is really, really good. That's just been a long running. Oregon has quietly been running back university, particularly out west, for the last 20 years. And you got to shout out Gary Campbell, longtime Oregon running backs coach. He's not on staff anymore, of course, but he was a big part of that. Big part of that across a couple of different head coaches. And it's just been nonstop production. Royce Freeman, you just keep going down the list. So I expected to be Mekhi Hughes first, coming over from Tulane, over 2,700 yards in 2 seasons with the Green Wave. Was one of PFF's highest graded running backs in the country last season. Whittington, I think, will back him up. I wonder, and we had this conversation last year, will Jay Harris, the former Division II transfer, or somebody else, Jaden Lamar or Dink Riggs or somebody, find themselves in that sort of role? Unclear at this time. I think Jaden Lamar is solid. You know, he was the number 3 running back last year and played on special teams, of course, legend of the Boise State game, picking up Noah Whittington's drop ball at the goal line and confirming the touchdown, or else that could have been a disaster. But I think Lamar is incredibly solid. He reminds me a little bit of Travis Dye. I don't know that he has anything super special. I think he's just solid. I don't know that I ever want Jaden Lamar to be Oregon's number 1 running back. Jay Harris or Dink Riggs, I can see it. Though, you know, we haven't seen Jay Harris in a significant way despite the enticing physical traits. There might be a reason for that. Or maybe he just needed a little bit of time getting acclimated, because he looks a lot like Najee Harris out there when he runs. And he moves well, and he's a big, bruising guy. So I'm interested to see whether him and Dink Riggs, who was one of the lower rated recruits a cycle or 2 ago for Oregon, and boy, does he! I thought he looked really good. You know, they've referred to him as Mini Bucky before, referring to Bucky Irving with the way he's just so elusive and hard to tackle. So I think those are the 2 guys I'm most intrigued to watch that are not freshmen, that could maybe see an increased role depending on how the rotations go. And we also don't know who's first off the bench, because, I mean, going into the 23 season, you thought Oregon had 3 running backs and Jordon James would be the short yardage guy, and then it turns out, nope. Whittington went down for the season, and it was a 2-headed monster. So maybe they get back to a 3-pronged attack where a guy is a short yardage sort of back, and maybe that's Jay Harris, and maybe it's not. I don't know, but I really like the talent and depth in this room a lot. And then the 2 incoming true freshmen, you know, Thunder and Lightning is how Whittington referred to him. Not hard to see why. Davison's about 220 pounds and is just, you know, kind of in that Royce Freeman mold. Dierre Hill, just explosion, man. I mean, just take off. You know, like Whittington said. What was the quote? In the future, it's going to be like his superpower, referring to his speed, because he's going to be that home run hitter. If he gets loose, he's gone. That was a scouting report on him coming out of high school. That's what he can be. And, you know, is that more a Tony Brooks James role where he's a rotational guy and he's really good? Or is a little bit more LaMichael James and he can take on a number 1 role? I don't know. But overall, I like this room a lot. Going into the spring game, I've got them graded as a B+, which for my grading system is really, really high. That's tied for the highest grade that I've given out so far, along with the wide receiver room, which I really like. And we'll see if I give out the same grades or if it goes higher or lower after the spring game based on how each of these position groups look. But I like this running back room. The depth is there. Talent is there. I think they can survive an injury if, God forbid that comes about. I think they have a lot of different options and ways they can attack defenses. So, yeah, I'm bullish on the running back room. Excited to see especially what those young guys bring to the table on Saturday.